Okay, so today's focus is going to be going through Canva and Paint 3D, and we lost somebody. Oh, Elizabeth, she'll come back on. And so that's the training videos that you watch, so it makes a little bit more sense to you. And because some of you haven't used that program at all, either or. If you have a Mac computer, it won't be called Paint 3D, it'll be called something else on your system. You can look, but it'll have basically probably very close to the same functionality as Paint 3D does. But I have a PC, so I don't know what that is. And of course I did. Oh, I did. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna wait for maybe her to come back on. Just a minute. I'm gonna message her and see. If, oh, there she is. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go to Canva now, but I gotta get. I was in it doing something. Or I'll go on a blank screen there. That's what I'll do. Just a minute. Did we? Okay. So we had.
All right, guys. If I learn how to do this, you can't do
it. You're right. Okay, so I gotta move us out of the way. So when you come to your web browser, you type in canva.com. Mine already highlights because I go to it very often. So this is how to get to Canva. Now, when you have the free version, you have to customize your dimensions before you get into the editing screen, or else I'm just going to mute everybody in case they're not muted. If you have the paid version, which you don't require to have, you can do lots of things from the free version, so you might as well use the free one. But you have to make sure you have your dimensions that you want to have before you go into the editing screen, as I said. So you would go to custom dimensions from the main screen. And you can create, if you haven't done so, create a free account. So it'll probably ask you that first to create a free account when you go here. And then it will look like this as a home page for you. So I already have programmed recent dimensions. So 1080 by 1080 would be pictures that you would use for Instagram or the story posts. So I'll go home and I'll show you. So your story post, what I mean by that is these things. Okay, so these pictures here and Instagram are the same size of 1080 by 1080. When you're creating pictures on your profiles, you want to make sure that you are creating a 1280 by 1280 because that's the optimal size for it to get optimized by the algorithms. Plus, you also take up more space on, you gotta realize most people are looking on their phones, not a desktop. So when you come across something like this on your phone, it will take up almost the entire screen. And that's what you want. You want as much real estate in their phone as you possibly can. So they stop and look at it. Just a minute, I'm going to the chat. Can you again tell us why we want certain sizes? Okay, and why it's important. All right, so again, what I mean is when the optimal size, the reason why for the size is because of how much room it takes up on your phone. So when someone's scrolling through their news feed, when they come to your picture, it will take up most of the space, like this one, right? It takes up most of the space. So you want to have as much space as possible because then they'll click on it or they'll be attracted to it. As long as it's something that's worth looking at, they'll look at it. So that's why 1280 by 1280 in Facebook feed is optimal. And in the story post, when you do your post in here, 1080 by 1080, it's because then that's what fits properly and doesn't cut off anything. Sometimes when you load a picture into your story post, if the size isn't correct, it won't show the whole picture unless you click on it. So say, what I mean by that is people will see it, but they have to actually click on the picture to view the entire picture, because in the screen, it cuts it off, and you don't want that. You want people to really touch on it. What would be the size of a pic behind your profile picture? I use 1280 by 1280 for the picture, like my profile picture. What would less people view the Facebook post if not optimal size? Potentially, yes. What we've learned in the past is the size of the picture is optimized by the algorithms. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but it could be the fact that people are seeing it more when they're scrolling. And that's simply because it takes up more space in their view of, in their line of sight, so to speak. But in Instagram, it's the same thing, 1080 by 1080, and it's because it won't fit. Their dimensions are smaller. So you have to go according to that, or again, your picture will get cut off. And I have an example of one that I did not size properly. I left it at 1280 by 1280, and I'll show you what I mean by that, if it goes there. Okay, so this one. This wasn't optimized in the size. It was 1280 by 1280, and it got cut off. So that's why you have to have it 1080 by 1080. Okay, but you can't fix it. Once it's posted, you cannot edit a picture. Actually, in Instagram, I don't even think you can edit the post, which is annoying. Which in Facebook, you can edit the text, but not the picture. You can add pictures, but I don't think you can delete pictures, or it might delete the whole entire post. So what you do is then you come in here after you click on custom dimensions, and you put in 1280 by 1280, or whatever size the picture you're creating. You can always change the picture to be 1080 by 1080 in Paint 3D, or after, because you can change it that way. I just got to move us 1 second here. Okay, so you can upload any picture from your computer this way. So from your device, if you want to upload one from Facebook, but obviously if you're trying to post to Facebook, you're not wanting to upload from Facebook. If you are putting stuff on Google Drive or Dropbox, because you are wanting to have access throughout all your devices, which that may be recommended. I do everything from my computer, so mine are on my hard drive. So it just depends on your situation. This is where you can get pictures that you have, okay? And then you can upload photos. Now, this, the photos that they give in here are, some of them are the same as, or they are the same as if you went to a royalty-free website. The difference is when you click on this one in Canva, it mixes the free and the paid ones together. So it's very frustrating and time consuming to find a picture that you want, because you may go to one and go, oh crap, I got to pay for it. So unless you have the pro version, you'll have to pay for individual pictures. So I don't recommend doing that here. I would save it and then upload it. Okay. Elements, when you click on elements here, these are different shapes and things that you can insert into your pictures. These are shapes that, and you can change the color. So you pick it, and then you would, I use these for like overlays to, I gotta move this again, sorry guys. To make things so that if depending on the text color, I want to optimize, I want to make the text pop. So you would use this over top of a picture and change it to, black or a lighter color, and then you can change the opacity, so the brightness, and I'll show you that a little bit more. But now, these are frames. So like, say you have a picture of, you want to upload, actually I might have a picture already. 1 second. You want to upload, go back there. Say you want to upload, where's a picture of a face? Okay, let's just do this for, oh my God, I hate that. The screen there. It's in the way. Okay, and then you want to frame her instead. Go back to elements. You could create a frame. Oh, I don't know if it'll show you until after you save it. I don't use this one very often. I've used it for, actually just not this one. One second, I just want to see if it works, sorry. So it creates a frame over them, but you can't see it. Yeah, it's not showing it the way I'm kind of intending it to, because it's more like when you save it. It's weird. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, so you can put lines and shapes and whatever you want, basically. Do it with taste though. Like don't use like weird things. Make sure it's appealing to somebody. Then you can insert text, and you can change the size of the font, the type of font by clicking here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open it to questions. So I'm going to unmute you all, and then what you didn't understand, that's what I'm going to stop share for a sec. I'll do that instead because it might be a little bit more unmute. Okay, you guys can unmute, and anything you didn't understand, then ask me. Maybe that's a better way.
Well, this is Elizabeth, and I'll just comment that I've been effectively using the free version of Canva on my phone, my Android Verizon phone system, to make simple pictures and crop them and whatnot to put on my Facebook. I'm also exploring the pro version of Canva on my computer. And I would just suggest that if we're practicing at this, we might have a little session of producing 5 photos all at once, if that's possible for what we're trying to work at. So we get it all done and then we have them ready to post later.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to be time efficient with all of.
Okay, so I'll share my screen again and we'll get a picture together. Okay, and we'll go back out. So if you are on your computer, open a new tab and go to Pixabay. Just type in Pixabay. Pixabay, I don't know if I can type, that'd be great. So mine comes up, pixabay.com. That will bring you to, it's one of my favorite royalty-free websites for pictures. And you can type in, I'm not logged in, so this is exactly how you would see it. If you weren't, you can create a free account here too. So say we want something that's motivational. Type in motivational. So we can select anything that, and you don't have to keep this. This is just something that we're gonna do together. So what one do you guys want to pick? This one? Yay, nay? So when
That's great.
Okay, so when you pick a picture, You get to decide what size is best for you. Okay, so when you select it by clicking on the picture you want, then you have the option to download, which is what we want to do. What also happens is sometimes they'll give you related pictures, or what they think are related pictures to what you selected. These are paid ones, okay? The ones that show up here, sponsored images, that's paid. So you would have to buy these images, but these are still free over here on the bottom right side. And you may go, oh, well, I actually like this one better. Then you can change it, right? So if you are happy with what you selected, you would click free download.
How do you change it? Just by,
Just by
quick
selecting
question,
it.
how do you change it? Just by clicking on the image?
Yeah, then you would just click
Okay.
on it. So if I wanted this instead, I click on it and then it loads. And then it gives me new options of what I could possibly want. Right? So actually, did you all get this one when you did that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I like that one better.
click this one instead. So we're going to change it to this one, and then we'll just do believe, belong, become. It'll be easy. A very quick, easy message. Okay, so then again, we want to download it. So free download. The size that we're looking for is as close to 1280 by 1280 that we can get, which is this one. But you can select whichever one you want by clicking on it. So we want the default that it gives us, 1920 by 1279, and we can change the dimensions of the picture. So download. And because I'm not signed in, just like you guys probably are not, then you would click on I'm not a robot. You have to wait for it and then click download. So now it's going to download to your hard drive, or you're going to save it there. And you want to save pictures. You don't want to have to recreate. See, I already have it, but you don't want to recreate pictures constantly when you can reuse a lot of them. I wouldn't use them like, you know, every 3 months, maybe 6 months, every 6 months, you could kind of cycle them. So name it what you know it will be. And hopefully you have a folder already that has ASCII in it, so that you can organize your files and your images. I have one separate for Instagram posts, and because again, the size of these ones, and there's duplicates in there of a lot of these ones are in there as well, because I copy the same post to Instagram that I often do on my Facebook page. So you want to be able to go in there quickly and just grab the picture and not worry about the dimensions. And that's why I separate them. It's just a streamlining process that I use. So then you save it. And now it will pop up being available at the bottom of your screen. So then click it. Now, this is, you can size it in Paint 3D, or, which it's loading into, this is like a screen that it loads into before Paint 3D. All pictures seem to go into this intermediary thing on a PC. Then you would click Edit and then go to Paint 3D. You just have more options in this screen. You don't have a lot of options to do anything to the actual picture. And I just want to show you the difference to get into here and size it here and edit it here. And then I'll show you, you could do whatever is more like easier for you to do. And if you wanted to, so again, you can come in Paint 3D. Who all has PC?
I do.
Okay, Sandy,
Me,
Janelle? I think Grant's on too. You guys are all PC, right? Okay, so cool.
Yeah.
So you should have this. Is everybody in this?
Sorry, Deanna, I'm just watching.
Okay, that's fine.
yeah,
All
me
right.
too.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
all
Well,
right,
I missed a step, and so I'm now just watching too because I can't backtrack.
that's okay. Where are you in the steps?
Well, I went to where it said the crosswalks or, to verify you're not a robot. So I did that. So I missed kind of what you were saying.
Oh, okay, so what happens then? It downloads to your hard
It
drive?
showed that, it showed the screen you're showing now, and then I, X'd out of it on the top right.
Did you
A
save the
little X on
picture?
the top. No, because I missed that part.
Okay, so when you download, you actually want to save it to your computer. So free download, the size you want, you download it. And then it's doing that again. But it's looking different for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, mine just did that too.
Yeah, I think it's because we did it on the same picture. So, and then you would save it to your, and save it to what you're referencing, going to be referencing into the picture. So I'm going to make a gain, believe, belong, become. So I already have one. So I would just, I'm just calling it become. But you guys, you know, make it something that is a reflection of what you're trying to say in the picture. So you know how to find it again. Okay. And you should have a folder created for ASEA so that you're streamlining your process. Okay, so I'm not going to save it again because I already have it. So then when you click on it to open it, it brings you into this screen. If you're if you have a PC. So then you would click on the down arrow here and scroll to edit with Paint 3D, because this program here does not give you many options to do anything to it. So then you click on that and it will automatically load into this one. So this is where we are now. Okay. So you want to crop the picture to being the size that you want. So it's already, the height is already almost 1280, which is fine. So then you would do 1280 there. But don't click done, because then it'll cut it off wherever it goes. See, now you have the ability to control where you want it. So it actually did go where I wanted it, but you know, it doesn't always. So when you have it where you want, that is when you would say done. Now, to change the entire size of it, so if you wanted to recreate this in the 1080 by 1080 size, you would hit canvas. And with these two things toggled, lock aspect ratio, resize image with canvas, then you can actually change the size to 1080. And then that picture is the right size for a Facebook story post or an Instagram post. Okay. So that's how you would change it without altering the picture as far as its appearance. It's just shrunk now, but it doesn't distort the picture or anything. So I'm going to undo that though. So that is one way to do to sizing in Paint 3D. And then you would add your text box. So you click on T for text. And then you make sure you click on 2-dimensional text. 3-dimensional you can, but it's I don't use it personally. So you always want it bolded because you want it to stand, you want it to pop. And you may or may not want to center it depending on how you want the information to look. So it depends on what you want to do. And the size you want, you know, 72 to 94 in pixel sizes. And this is the difference between Paint 3D and Canva. You have limited ability in sizing. You can't pick a size you want. Like say I wanted 90, not 94. I can't do that. I have to pick the pre-installed sizes. You can't adjust it. And then beside it is the color of the font that you want. Okay. And then above here is the actual font you want to select. So say you wanted this to be not as bright because you want to use a different color of font. You can put a two-dimensional shape over top of it, like an overlay. So I clicked on 2D shapes, and then you would pick the shape that will cover it. I gotta move this out of the way, so sorry. There we go. So you would cover it. Now, when you do that, it's gonna go like before you select it totally, like enter, don't do that. So you select it over top of it to cover it, don't hit enter. Then you want to have no line. So you would, oh shoot. Oh, it didn't do nothing. Okay. So you click it again. You don't want to have a line. So you click here and go none. So line type none. This is the default color. I don't know why, but it always does that. So if you want the background to be darker so you can put a lighter font, you would put black. And then you change the opacity. So the color of it so that you can see it. So sticker opacity right here. You click in there, or you can move this, whatever you want to do. So if you want it to be like, you know, a little darker like that, then you would select that and hit, then you can hit enter or click this. And then you could use, oh, sorry, then I gotta move us again, shit. And then you would click text and maybe use white font. And you can pick any font you want. It doesn't matter what you select. So then belong. Oh, sorry, believe. Believe, belong, and then become. So you can do that. And if you want to space them out more or maybe make the font bigger, you have to select it. So you click and drag the mouse and see if it'll go bigger without affecting the font. So that's how you can make it pop more. Sometimes black font doesn't pop as much. So creating a darker background would make the words stand out more, and the picture in the background is just kind of like there, so to speak. It adds to it, but it's really the words that you really want to stand out. So once you have it looking the way you want it to look, you would then click off it, or yeah, you'd have to click off of it, because if you clicked enter where the mouse was, it would have created an enter in the thing. So that's one way of creating a picture like that. If you didn't want the background to be dark, and don't use the overlay, and then you could have used black font instead of the white, but it's up to you. And that's what I did with that other picture. I actually did use the black and didn't sorry, I had to move you guys again, and I didn't change that. So like so I'll show you the other one that I did. So this is the other one where I didn't darken the background and I used black font instead. So that's just the difference in it's a personal preference, whatever you want to choose. Now to do that same thing in Canva, because remember now we saved the picture. I'm going to go home.
One quick question before you move on, Deanna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember doing pictures in Paint 3D and have my text box all set up. And when I click outside the box when I'm done, it would cut off half the words. Do we ever figure out why that happened?
I don't know why it does that. What I do in place of that is I will copy the stuff that gets deleted and I will create a new box. So I'll put in what I know doesn't delete, and then I'll add a new box and just put the delete part, because then it'll force it to be in there. So what he's referring to is sometimes when you create a box, part of it would get deleted. So say only believe, belong would show, but become would be cut off. Sometimes it does that. I have no idea why, but it does. So I would just create a new box right where it lines up with the other, and make sure that it is in the same lines that the other box was in. And I would retype the become. So then it would actually show, and it forces it in there. I don't know why it does it, but it does do that sometimes. So if that's what's happening, that's all you have to do as a quick fix. Canva won't do that. So that's one of the other things I do like about Canva, is that it, when you put something in there, it puts it in there. So when we type canva.com, this is a screen that appears when you have a free account. If you don't have a free account, just create one. It's easy, just follow the prompts, and it's no big deal. But again, free accounts, you have to customize the dimensions before you go to the editing screen. So go to custom dimensions and create the dimensions you want, 1280 by 1280, create new design. So I'm going to upload that same picture because I don't think I saved the original. So I'm going to uploads, upload media from my device. And I'm going to go get that one that I saved but didn't edit the dimensions. So here it is. This is the 1920 by 1279. And it will, when you hover over it, it will give you the dimensions, as you can see. Okay, so you know that's the one that we want to edit. So then it loads, and then when it loads in here, then all you do is click it to bring it into the editing screen. All right, so expand it to the window. I'm not going to move this again, sorry. Expand it to the window that you have. You don't want her to get cut off, so make sure you're going to have to manually fit it in here though. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I can achieve the same thing as I did in Paint 3D by, I just want to make sure. So when you have it properly lined up, it should give you like an act like that. Okay, so then you know that you are in the full screen. And then you also should know by this in the corner, it should say 1280 by 1280. Okay, so that's in the screen view that we want, and you can recreate the same thing, except for the text that you can get in this screen is not the same text you can get in Paint 3D. There are two different text options. This one has a lot more. Sometimes more is not always so good, because when you have too many options, it's takes you longer to decide what you want to do. So it defaults to center alignment. You can change that by clicking on it, and then see, now it's left justified. It is the full, and then it goes back, and then the right, and then centered again. So again, that's your preference, however you want to line it up. Say if you want to create bulleted points, then maybe you want it to the left. I don't know. Bulleted points shouldn't be centered. It doesn't look right. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, so you would select the size of font, or you may wait until the end to change the size, and then select your font by clicking on the down arrow in this box, because this is where the font selection is. And you can select whatever font you want. It usually will list the ones that you use the most, and then it'll start in alphabetical order. Okay. If it has a crown, that means it's the pro version. All right. So then it's not available to you unless you go to the pro version. So just keep that in mind, but there are a lot of free ones. I use this one a lot. I just like how the look of it's clean. So, but it's not overly fancy. So again, whatever your preference is. Okay, so here we recreated it. So if you want a little bit more spacing in between, but not a whole gigantic space, press enter at the end. And then you have to click and select that space. It won't look like it's selected, but it is. Because if you don't do that, it will change the font size of everything. which is not what you want to do. So see, now it's only a 50 enter instead of 106. So do it again. There. So it's just spaced out a little bit better. Just little, all you have to do is play with it, because that's how I learned how to do a lot of this, is just how I've figured it out. So again, you can change the font, whatever color you want. You might have to select it to do that. It might sometimes, when you change the font type, it usually will change the whole box. And that's the downside with Canva, is you have to create a new box to have a different font. With Paint 3D, you can select a word, change the font for that one, and it won't change the rest. So that's the difference between those two that I like personally, is it just depends on what you want to try to create. But you can change color of each individual one by selecting it. So it's really odd that it'll respect one thing over another. So, okay, so say you thought, oh, I don't like the black. I think I want it to be a white color instead, but white probably won't look good on this either. So if we select white, see, then it's kind of like, oh, I can't see most of it. Then you would go to do the overlay, like I mentioned before. In Canva, to create an overlay like we did in Paint 3D, you go to Elements, click Elements. And I have recently used all kinds of stuff, so mine is up here, but then if it's not, you go to Shapes, okay? So, but I'm going to click that. So this is a color, and that's the default. It's picking up a color within the picture. Usually it does that, or whatever color you used last. So again, you want it to go to the entire picture, make sure it's lined up like that. Then it's still selected, and you can also tell, because this is what it's giving you, change the color to say black. Now you want to change the opacity. So see this here, that's transparency. You click it, it has different words depending on what program you're in. So I want it to be maybe 50%, see what it does. Oh, it's not quite dark enough. So I want to go maybe 60. And oh, actually, I think I have to do position to make it pop more, because the text is still behind it. So that's why we don't want the text behind it. So I just want to check something there. Okay. So if you did the overlay before the text, you wouldn't have had to do that, because the text would be on top. But because we put the overlay on after we already did the text box, you have to force the overlay to go behind the text instead. So that's why I had to do that. So if you ever wondered why, that's why. So so then that pops now, but maybe it's too dark for you. So you want the color to be a little bit less. So that's pretty good. So that's how you get a similar look using two different programs. And these are kind of the things that you would be doing for a lot of different posts. So any questions regarding that? And I'll stop sharing. So you can unmute to ask. It'll be easier.
Deanna,
Yep.
I overslept last Sunday. How can I watch last week's one?
Oh, it's on my YouTube channel, so you can, I uploaded it and made it public. Because I'm not putting any product name or company name, we don't want to mention any of that. So then
Okay.
This information is basically generic. So that's why I'm uploading it to being public. So
How do I get to your YouTube channel?
okay, so you just type in YouTube.
Okay.
And I'll put the link in. But my profile picture is the same as my Facebook page and everything. So, but I think it's just Deanna Lee. Yeah, it's just Deanna Lee, but I'll put it in the thing.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, the dogs got into the cat food and they were sick all night.
Oh, I'm
So I
sorry.
had a valid reason.
That's okay, no worries. Okay, so that's my YouTube channel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's so, and the video training for both of the, like, to create pictures are in on my YouTube channel too. That's available. So
Deanna,
yes.
can you take somebody else's picture and remove their text and put your own text on
What
it?
you what you could do is you could create an overlay on top of it.
Yeah.
Then it would change the color. But you shouldn't be using other people's pictures anyway.
Oh, okay.
So like, what kind of a picture? Is it?
Well, actually, I really liked William's picture on his Facebook, the one that says "Unleash Your Potential." And
Okay.
so I'd wanted to take that one and then put my own text on that, or cut his text off so that I would just have that partial picture.
Okay, you could probably find that picture on Pixabay.
I looked on Pixabay, I couldn't find it there, so I kind of like uploaded it from something. I can't remember what.
Okay.
His-
What is it again? Like
It's like a picture of the earth with all this light coming out of it, and he has "Unleash Your Potential" on it. It's a really nice picture.
this one?
No, it's not that. It's got like light radiating out from everywhere.
Okay, I can help you look for it. And
I did go through Pixabay looking for it, but I couldn't find it.
oh, okay. Maybe Earth Light. And he could have purchased it. It could have been a purchased a picture, like a stock photo. So that's the
Okay.
other thing. To do that, the unfortunate thing is when you create an overlay, it will remove the picture, not just the text. So that's one thing. That's why you wouldn't be able to do that without really wrecking the picture. So, but I can help you after if you want to find one that's really close. So are there any other questions? Because we're going on 45 minutes and I don't want this to go too long.
Well, thank you, Deanna. That was really helpful to get a better idea of how to use that program. And guys, it just takes some practice and then you'll feel confident. I was confused at first and now I feel like I know what to do.
Okay, great. So does it make sense more or to everybody? You can unmute if you want. So I can.
Yes, it makes much more sense. Thank you, Deanna.
Oh, cool. All right. Pip, if you want to stay on though, after we can look at stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So again, when another thing I want to just go over quickly, sorry. When you're creating your posts, make sure you space things out properly, okay? So in here, you can see that I've entered a period between my my paragraphs. That is because if you don't, even though when you're typing it in, it looks like there's a space, when you save it, Facebook will erase the space and it'll just be a blob of information. It won't look as much white space. When someone is looking at your information, you want it to be easy to read. And if it looks like it's going to go on and on and on, someone might go, oh, I don't want to read that, and scroll by. Okay. So always include a space and force it with the period. Now, this is not like normal writing. So not grammar, but I mean, when you create paragraphs in normal writing, you wouldn't only have one sentence in a paragraph because that's a title. But in Facebook and in Instagram and social media posts, you don't want big blocks of writing. So maximum 2 sentences per paragraph, because it's just too much. It's not appealing to most people and they won't read it. So you need to really learn how to break it apart so that it's, because you got to remember, people are mostly looking on their phone. So if it's too much of a block, people aren't going to read it. They'll just scroll by. So like, I don't have time for that. But once they start reading something, it isn't as long as it really looks when it's broken out like this, because, and then they finish reading. Another thing is to use hashtags, because when people search in the search bar up here, they could search, start your own business. Well, your post will now show up in their feed as something to look at. Be your own boss. There you go. There's another search. People search these things all the time, and it has to relate to what your message is. So always make sure it relates to your message. So that is something. Never put like, comment, and share on a post. Okay. You want someone to comment, say drop a word, drop an emoji below. Do not say in the comments. All right. That is a call to action that Facebook doesn't really like, so it will not be shown as much. Okay, never say like, share, or comment. Facebook wants people to come to their own conclusions to do things, and your post should be appealing enough to them to want to like, comment, and share. All right, but sometimes most people have to be told what to do. Okay, so drop whatever you want them to drop below, so that you can connect or whatever. Okay, so that is what you want to do in regards to that. Asking them questions is something really good. I got 18 comments and a lot of private messages about this, how, managing time, how to get organized. And then I actually gave them information on how to do that. So always follow up with what you're saying you're going to do. Don't just say this and then not do nothing. So then I privately messaged everybody that asked for help with it. Okay, so that's what you got to do. And you always love, like you can like a comment, but don't like someone's post. Always love, care, wow. Funny if it's funny. If it's not funny, don't do a ha-ha, because it's an inappropriate reaction. Never do angry. Try to limit the sad, again, if it's appropriate, yes. Don't ever do like, because like on a post is nothing. Everybody does like, so that you don't get any value from that. And then reply, like react, and then create a reply. I'll message you and their name. Tag their name every time. If it doesn't highlight their name, do the @ sign, then type their name, and it should work. Sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of finicky, Facebook. It's weird. So then they will get a notification that you actually replied, and they'll look. It'll bring them back to the post. Okay, that's why you tag people. What else was I going to tell you? So does this make sense how I'm mentioning this, everybody?
It's very helpful, but I want to make sure that everybody else understands something that I've come to understand, which is that the reason you're telling us this is you're helping us tweak what we're doing so that the algorithms of Facebook will show our posts to more of our friends,
Right.
instead of just a couple or a few of our friends. And if we get that down and do the algorithms correctly, then we'll have much more broadcast where more people will see it.
Right. Now, any post that's related, if you don't have your page already to default to public, you might want to do that. If you don't want all your information being publicized, then each post that you want everybody to look at, you can individually change it to public. I have my page defaulting to public. I don't really care who sees my stuff. So, but if you do, you have to make sure that the information you want anybody to see, that you make sure it's public. If not, it's just going to go to your friends. Okay. Your friends could share it, and then when your friends like your stuff, their friends will see that they liked it. Okay, so that's how it gets around. That's how the algorithm works. And so you could potentially get more audience that way. But if you go public, you'll get a lot more audience. So just keep that in mind as well. So anyway, so we're getting too long now here. So all right, so I hope that makes sense to everybody. If you don't quite get something that I've shown already, just write me a message or Elizabeth, and we can go over that specifically in another training. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So
Thank you
Pippa,
very
Thank
much.
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye, guys. Pippa, you stay on. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.